What's up, Gearheads? Jared here from Gearhead Grind, bringing you a little bit different video today, or something different than what I've been working on lately. So instead of working on this truck behind me here, the Stubbs build for my long travel 72 C10, I'm going to be going back to the Datsun that I haven't touched in a while. So it's a 6-liter LS swap Datsun with a T56 transmission and a bunch of other work done to it. So full custom suspension, Willwood brakes, all the fun goodies to make it a pretty awesome track car slash street car. It is street legal. There's a few things I need to do to it still, but one big thing is with the big, wide, sticky front tires I have on there and the large V8, even though it's not that much heavier than the stock 2.8 liter motor that was in there, it's not super fun to steer, especially on the street and driving it. Once you're at speed, it's fine, but I think the bearings or something in that steering column's a little shot as is, without really putting much time on it. So what I'm going to be doing is swapping over to a power steering solution from Silverstone, I think. Silvermine Motors, that's it. Silvermine Motors makes a power steering kit for those cars, and I'm going to be putting that in. So it should be a plug-and-play kit. Basically, you remove the stock steering column and replace it with their steering column with the electric motor on it. And there's a GPS unit that tracks your speed to calibrate, the sensitivity and how much input the electric drive is giving you to help out. But basically, I just need to get that installed and wire it up. One of my big challenges, though, is I am out of space currently to work. So the truck's not in a condition where I can get it out of the garage because it doesn't have a front axle on it. And I don't want to try to get it on blocks or anything to roll it out. And I can't work on the Datsun in the trailer because I need to open up the doors all the way to get in there and do the steering column out. So I'm doing it in the driveway. And of course, even though we're in sunny Santa Barbara here, where it is beautiful 360 days out of the year, today is one of those days where it is raining, of course, just to spite me. So I have an easy up out there, and I'll be doing the work in the rain, or what amount of rain or sprinkling is coming down at this time. So I'm about to jump into it. I'll take you guys through it, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm hoping this will be pretty straightforward, like it seems like it would be. But here is everything that the kit comes with, as is. So one quick note, basically everything has a Chinese manufacturer and information on it. So just one heads up. I mean, I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, but it is what it is. So much stuff comes from them these days, unfortunately. Another thing, no written instructions in the box. So I'm going to go on their site and figure it out from there. It should be pretty straightforward. Like, I'm guessing just whatever wires come off these are power, ground, and whatever. And then there's a GPS unit to wire in as well, which should be pretty straightforward. But yeah, basically we have a steering column replacement here. So there's just 2 bolts on here and then 4 bolts on the lower part of it. And they do include a new joint here to replace the stock rag joint on there, which will be pretty nice, actually. We've got the ECU that controls everything. We've got the wiring harness to connect these guys to the ECU, and then I did the optional GPS upgrade. So instead of wiring into a Speedo, it just runs off its own GPS unit. And the reason I did that is because my GPS on the car runs off, my Speedo on the car runs off GPS anyway. So I'm just going to run 2 separate units, and we'll see how that works. I think I can always switch back, even though I've paid for this one, but if I decide not to use it, I can switch back and just run off the wire coming from the Speedo itself. So I'm going to jump in the car here, and basically underneath you can see the 4 bolts there connecting it to the firewall. And then there's my ignition, which isn't really wired in anyway. And then 2 bolts down here. So the only potentially challenging part is going to be getting down here to that guy, but there's plenty of room down at the rag joint. So I should be able to get in there next to the headers and everything. The car's not hot or anything like that, and be able to switch these out. So yeah. And then the other project of the day, depending on how long that takes me, is to put on the rear spoiler. That's a whole other conversation piece. I got it from R-Spec Racing. I've had nothing but negative experiences with them, unfortunately. I did also get my flares from them, and the rear piece here, that's carbon as well on the car. It just does not fit well. So I'm actually gonna just have to take a sanding wheel or a grinder and trim it, and try to finish it so that way it doesn't fall apart or anything. But a few things, there's a bubble in the carbon right there. If you guys can see it, that's fun. This is exactly how it was shipped to me. So there's a little, that one's not bad, just kind of dirty. There's little dings and stuff in it there. And yeah, like I said, it just doesn't fit well. So I'm gonna try to get it on the back of the car so it's not a complete waste of money. But first I'm gonna prioritize on the power steering, because once that's done, I can always move the car back into the trailer if it starts raining again or anything like that. Thankfully, we've got a break in the weather right now, and it's not raining, because I gave it a couple hours before when I was gonna start and when I'm actually out here. So yeah, let's jump on the project now and get everything installed in the car. One other note on here, this is specific to my install, but I do have the quick release on here too. So I basically just need to pull these 6 little bolts on here. There's a nut on the back, pull that, and then this whole thing comes off, and I'll transfer it to the other column as well. The 6 bolts underneath, the 4 on the firewall and 2 under, super easy to get to. The firewall ones, hopefully they're stock, I mean, who knows, but in my case they're 10 millimeter, and then the ones that go underneath here holding it on are 12 millimeter bolts.
A few wrench turns later.
All right, little update time. I pulled out the steering shaft. See it sitting over there on the ground? So that part is still on, so I have to pull that off of the steering shaft itself. My guess is because this car has been painted and finished and various things, it's stuck onto the shaft pretty good, so I'm going to try to hammer it off or figure out a way to get that out. But my way of getting to the bolts on there would basically an extension on a 3/8 impact that's super long, and then a wrench on the back side of the nut to hold the head. And of course the bolts were 2 different size heads. One was a 12 mil, or 2 of them were 12 mil and 2 were 13. So that was fun. But yeah, thankfully they weren't seized. They came out pretty easy. So now I just gotta get that piece off, because that one is on there pretty good. But I have a hammer and some punches or various things if I need. Basically, I'm gonna stick a screwdriver in the slit there and try to open it up, pry it open, and then we'll hammer it off and see if we can go from there. Because the new one, this table got a lot messier. The new one does have a new fitting on there. So should be a little bit heavier duty, which is awesome. But yeah, let's go from there. All right, so I actually decided to take out the whole steering shaft, as it was just easier. The piece that was on here was pretty seized on. So I was able to just get it in a vise and hammer it off, so that was easier. So I did put some anti-seize on here, and I pre-assembled the top part, because this fitting on the old steering shaft was a lot tighter, whereas this brand new one is really easy to put together, so that should be fine. And then this side, one reason I've pulled it fully apart was those threads in there. Hopefully if it focuses. Anyway, those threads are in much better shape now, because I basically tapped it out, and then I put the bolt in a die and cleaned it up, because that bolt was not in great shape. So I was having a hard time getting it back on and everything. So I'm going to throw a little anti-seize in here, get this back together, and go from there. But basically just making everything better than when I left it, and addressing anything while I'm under here. It is kind of a pain. I'm too lazy to take the tire off, so getting in, you can't even see it down there at the back of the steering box, kind of a hassle, but it is what it is. We're getting it done, and here we go. All right, so we got another curveball coming my way. So this plate right here, I have a little punch in here to help me locate it. But fun fact, one of the bolts, you can't see it because I need to move this whole thing up, was broken off. So when I went to undo it, just the head came off, which was cool. I mean, literally like no effort. It had already been broken off at some point and was miraculously just sticking around in there. And that one is behind the brake booster, so I can't do anything about it. And now the one right there in the middle on the top right there, has also decided to break off. So I've got new hardware. I'm not messing around with these stock bolts anymore. So I have to go extract that. So let me show you. So on the bright side, I can see it. So right in the middle of the screen there is the back half of the bolt. So unfortunately, it's behind some brake lines and other things, but I think I can get down there with some super long needle nose or something and just back it out. I can get my fingers on it, but there's too much resistance, so we'll see. But yeah, more curveballs. But I did get this joint together, so this would be much easier to do with two people. One person put the steering column in, another person to align this guy to get the joint in. Thankfully, I'm pretty tall and have long arms, so I was able to like reach around there in the car to handle the steering column and put it in and kind of align this and get it all set up. One learning is there's two bolts, one right there and one right up there behind the cables. Don't tighten those yet. I mean, I can do it right now, but don't tighten them until the end, because when you bolt the steering column in underneath up here, you need to get that mount aligned, and you need some slip in the yoke, unless you get really lucky, but you basically need some slip to get that all aligned in there. But yeah, so that's my learnings as of right now. And now we're gonna extract the bolts, get some new ones in, and hopefully it's all good. But yeah, there's this brake booster in here, and the other one is like literally behind it. I mean, there's no getting to it at all without removing the booster off the firewall. I'm not about to do that right now. So yep, good times. All right, another update on the power steering. I got my new bolts in there in the back, all shiny and new. I got this guy clocked up out of the way. So what I did is I aligned it the way I wanted. I mean, it doesn't really look like there's any other way. I'm hoping my big size 13 feet fit in here. But there's a nut right there to tighten this collar. So I tightened that down, and then I actually just threw a big old zip tie on here for now, just to make sure that's held up. All these are marked, so those should be torqued just fine. And this is all going to be tucked away proper. I'm just getting it out of the way so I can test all this. But I've got the two wire looms run from the actual motor itself over to the ECU here. So that's all good. And now I'm just trying to figure out the GPS part of it. I also just moved over my my steering here. What I have to do is, you know, it is fine splined on here. So probably can't mark anything because it's a completely new steering column. So what I'm going to have to do is actually drive it. So get an alignment first and foremost. Then once I drive it, because this car's never been aligned. Not that I need an alignment for this job. It just, I tape measured it in, basically. So I'm going to get an alignment and then figure out where the steering wheel should go. So that way the steering wheel is straight and forward, and may have to redo this. So I just took a shot at it based off, you know, making sure the front tires are straight and all that good stuff in there. And then I'll get my Momo steering wheel back on there. That's it for now. And then trying to figure out this whole GPS harness thing and this mess of tools I got going up here, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I'm sitting here in the car. It is not running, but it is powered on, so it has the switch 12-volt power. So we don't even need the car running. We can basically just turn it as is. So I can actually, I don't know, I'm in the trailer right now. You can hear the wheels turning, and I was not able to do that before. So this is, you know, obviously the steering wheel's not even on. This is just a hub lock for the detachable steering wheel lock, so you know, no one can just come in with a generic steering wheel and put that on. But yeah, just sitting here in the trailer, everything works as expected. Very cool, and can't wait to take this car out again. There's another Cars and Coffee event this weekend, so maybe I'll get out on another ride. And I did mention this in the video, but I do need to still fine-tune the alignment. So basically, I'm just maybe one spline or two splines over to the right. In terms of my steering wheel alignment, I do need to get it back to center and then still get the car properly aligned. All right, everyone. See you on the next one. All right, Gearheads. So I didn't really get a chance to finish that video properly because it ended up that I needed to take my son home from daycare when I was trying to work on the project, and I had him with me. And so filming, juggling a 2-year-old and various things was pretty difficult. So I didn't get the remainder of the footage for doing the project, but all I had left to do was the wiring, as I mentioned. So basically there's 3 wires that run to the GPS, if I remember correctly. And that was all pretty straightforward once I was able to just look at them and track them down to the harness. And then there's a ground, a switch 12-volt power, which I ran. I've got a whole fuse block that runs off accessory power, so I was able to run it there. So I've got it's all fused and switched. And then I have a larger 12-volt red wire off the harness that runs to battery power. So I've got a master kill switch on the car, so it does run to, it's battery power, but it's still switched battery power, like pretty much everything is on the car, except for a few just key items. So yeah, it's all good, and it works pretty well now. I'll do a little shot from inside the car so you can see it in just a second. I've only driven it down the road to go to like a Cars and Coffee event, so I haven't actually done any performance driving or anything. But it is a game changer in terms of feel. It's so much easier now. So just the new steering column and everything that goes into that, as well as the actual power steering itself, makes a huge difference in the drivability. It feels like a completely different car. It's much more enjoyable now, for sure. So let me just show you that to wrap it up. And hopefully this video was helpful to somebody out there. If you're on the fence about doing electronic power steering and you're driving stock with no power steering, do it. It's not cheap to buy the kit. It is very easy the way they have it set up. As I mentioned, it does utilize a lot of Chinese manufactured parts, which I wasn't a big fan of and wasn't necessarily expecting for the price. But hopefully it sees good longevity and doesn't give me any problems. This isn't my daily driver, so shouldn't get much use, but the use it gets will be important because it'll be at speed and, you know, some performant driving. So we'll see. But yeah, super easy to turn and steer now, which is great. I'll actually show you without the steering wheel on and just turning the hub. And that really shows how easy it truly is. All right, Gearheads, feel free to share any feedback. As always, like, subscribe, whatever. But, you know, I'm just doing these to share my experiences, and hopefully it helps somebody out there. So enjoy and see you on the next video.